Hi, welcome to Liz and Liz Get Literary. My name is Liz.
And I'm also Liz. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We have taken a slight hiatus, but we are back. We're in different locations today, but you're going to get the same great content. Um, do you want to tell them where you are?
Yeah, you are now in the new Liz G book room. My husband and I moved all week long and we started packing up last week. And so I have just not been doing much in the content creation world. So shout out to Liz for carrying the squad because I have been running around like several chickens with their heads cut off. But I'm
You
back.
looked fabulous doing it, though, so no
Thank you. I'm
problem.
very tired, but it looks cute. And I always love to see your book corner. We don't get to see it enough
Yeah, I deliberately hid the shelf that has all of my TBR on it because it gives me anxiety. So you
because
just
you're
go.
hiding from your own TBR.
I am. Actually, July will be a good July because I will at least lower it a little tiny bit. But we have a special guest that will be joining us in just a couple of minutes. So before we announce that and we say who it is, Liz, what are you reading?
I'm reading several things. So I'm still finishing up the beta read for Divine Tides. I will probably finish that tomorrow, possibly tonight. It is hard being a beta reader because I want to go so fast because the book is so good, but
Yeah.
you're like really having to dissect it. So that's taking a while, but I'm
Mhm.
having an amazing time.
Good.
I'm additionally going to start the fourth book in the Cowboy Colony Mail Order Bride series today. So that is fun.
Your intergalactic side quest.
It is a side destination, I feel.
Yes.
So that has been fun. And I'm also still reading For Whom the Bell Tolls by JC Lynn. I should finish that tonight. So it's a lot going on for me. What about you?
I am about to finish For Whom the Bell Tolls as well, hopefully this afternoon, and then I'm going to start The One by John
Ooh.
Mars. Yeah. And I'm going to stop there rather than start another book as well and get kind of through that. But then I think I am going to start Pines by Blake Crouch as well. So,
Love that. I love the Wayward Pine series. I ate it up. I read it so fast. I was obsessed.
yeah, I can't wait. So my goal this month, which we'll get into later, is to get a lot of my book club books done and then hit some of the books that have been on my TBR for a while. But we are super excited to announce that we will be interviewing Jodi Ellen Malpas today. We actually did one of her books for a book club quite a few months ago, One Night with the Duke, and we were super honored to score a interview with her over her new book coming out, The Invitation. Comes out,
Tomorrow, if it's our time, so July 1st. So when you guys are seeing this, it has been out for a few days.
yes. So we read it. We were sat. So good. I am screaming at the end. The spice is spicy, the plot is thick, and we can't wait to talk about it with her.
It was so like funny and also like satirical. It has that perfect British humor that I feel like she just comes like naturally with, obviously. And I just could feel how British the book was. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I love anything like British, European, so I had an amazing time. The cliffhanger was crazy. I
Crazy.
have not ever in my life read a romance book with a cliffhanger that crazy.
Like, where I literally sat there and I was like, can we come back from this?
When you texted me up in all caps, like just nothing but, oh my God, the ending of the invitation. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was sad. I was so sad. I literally so I put the book down after the cliffhanger, tried to like move on a little bit, like move on in my mind, and then I literally laid down in my bed, pulled it back up and reread it because I was like, maybe I missed something. Did I miss something? No. I didn't miss a thing. It was still there. And she's got some things to answer to, for sure.
she does. She does, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, number one New York Times best-selling author on this podcast is crazy. A romance author that I don't know anyone who hasn't heard of. Like, she's gonna be amazing to talk to. I can't wait, and hopefully that you guys enjoy it.
Yes. And if you guys are watching this, go pick up the invitation now.
Hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
welcome. And you are stunning. Like your
Where's
author
who?
photo is so beautiful. I was like, wow. And then in person, kind of, sort of, you're even like more beautiful.
Oh my God,
Wow.
stop. Oh, you're too sweet. How are
Well, I
you?
am Liz B.
You're sorry,
I'm Liz G.
Liz
And that
G
is Liz
and
S.
Liz.
I'm Liz S.
Right, Liz G, Liz S.
Yeah. If you just say Liz, one of us will
Liz, one of
answer.
you, yeah, one of you will answer. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming. When Kelly was like, what about Jodi? I was like, is Jodi an option that we are allowed to talk to?
Stop.
I have to tell you, you have a lot to answer for the end of the invitation because I am not okay. I have been mad.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. And I'm getting it. I'm getting it in the ear now. Yeah. But it's Amazon told me, give us JM. And I was like, okay. So that's
I
what
mean,
I did.
I was so sad. And then I'm like, oh, we're in the last like 10%. It's gonna be great. And then my husband was sitting next to me and he was like, are you well? And I was like, no, I'm not. Thank you for asking.
Oh dear. Yeah. I know, as all the authors know, you are dicing with death when you bring a cliffhanger to the mix. But I was on my walk this morning and I have little conversations with my dog, and I was thinking, like I was looking at some of the notifications coming through, people that are finishing the invitation and yelling at me. And I was thinking, where's the delayed gratification gone? In the day
That's very
where we get, TikToks that are 15 seconds long and we get a beginning, a middle, and an end in 15 seconds and we get to binge watch on Netflix. And, there's not that element of anticipation anymore. And I love the element of anticipation.
I stopped reading and I was like, when's the next one coming? Because
Wow,
I'm so,
I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh God, we've got to wait until September. But let me tell you, Amazon wanted to release that book next year. Yeah. And I knew that was also going to cause a little bit of, tension maybe.
he said,
But
I'm a girl's girl and I'm not doing that.
well, I didn't say anything because, I know I'm well versed in working with publishers and I know that, they've got a schedule and I'm just honoured to still be published. So I didn't say anything, but I did get the book to them way ahead of schedule and they came to me and said, what about if we turn this around within a couple of months? And I was like, yes, please. Do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked it up immediately because Liz texted me in all caps and she's like, what are we gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. Let me look it up. And I was like, whew, it's only September 2nd. Like, that is very close.
Very close. Yeah. So I will remind people of that when they're threatening, to threaten me physical harm.
Right.
They better not because the people these days are getting quite bold with
Oh, they
authors, and
are. They
I
are.
wish that people would just dial it back. Let's
Chill
bring
out.
back
Chill
shame.
out. Yeah.
Just calm down,
Yeah.
please.
Calm down. So I think readers they've been spoiled. I think.
Hmm.
I think,
Mm-hmm.
there's years and years ago, authors were just a biopic at the end of a book. That was it. And you might get to meet them at a signing if they did a signing in a bookstore, which was rare. And these days we're so accessible, which is wonderful and great for the readers. It means we get to interact. And, I've met so many amazing people and friends. I've got, solid, great friends now just through, being in this world. But yeah, it does mean that we are more accessible, and we do get a lot of messages drop into our inboxes, that some of which we don't want to open sometimes.
And that's really unfortunate. I would never think to like was the cliffhanger crazy? Absolutely. But I would never
Oh
think to
God,
say anything
I've had
like
1-star reviews for it. I've had 1-star reviews for it. Yeah, it's, yeah, it happens.
okay, well,
Yeah. There was one the other day that killed me, and I've always been an advocate. I don't entertain negativity, and
yeah.
I kill people with kindness, even if they're being an asshole, because I hope that during that communication period, they stop and think, "Oh God, that wasn't really very nice of me," or maybe I was being a bit, and I get it. Readers are passionate, and sometimes they're passionate and they're acting on emotion, and sometimes it's a compliment, but sometimes it gets personal. And I had one last week that was a bit personal, and I just went back. She was like, "Oh God, 18 pages of foreplay. It's like so boring." I was like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, I love a bit of a slow burn.
Yeah.
And she was like,
Clearly you haven't had good foreplay.
yeah. And she was like, well, it's sophomore. I was like, or intense. And I thought she's going to come back at some point and pipe down a bit, and she did actually. She did come back and say, "Well, I've been a fan for many years, so I'm gonna give it a chance and wait for book 2." I was like, "Well, thank you."
One of the things that I talk about when it comes to rating books for myself is I always give a high star if the book makes me feel something emotionally, like whether that's
Mm,
negative or positive. And at the end of Invitation, I was so mad on behalf of Amelia, like so mad.
I
And I
was
was like,
too.
there we go. Like I'm here is the emotion. Like granted, those spicy scenes had me also feeling things, but I was so mad on behalf of her. And
Mm,
you wrote it so that at the end we were like, are you joking? Are you joking? You did
yeah,
a phenomenal job doing that.
thank
I have
you.
like
Thank you. And
I've read a lot of romance books
that's
and
the
it is
point.
kind of rare to
Yeah,
have that.
and that's what I'm there for. That's one of my, like, they always get asked, like, what's the ingredients to a good romance, and that's all a matter of opinion. But for me, I want that. I want my readers to be in my heroine's shoes, and I want them to walk her path, and I want them to feel what she feels, and that's the aim. And when I get the emotions come back at me from readers, I think, job done. Even if it's like, how could you do that?
You did an A+ job, I will tell you that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's almost like if you were not happy with the ending, it makes me wonder, like, have you not had friends, like be treated poorly by a man? Have you never been treated poorly by a man? Because it's like a visceral, so sorry, reaction to like this wrongdoing, right? This joke, this sort of like the betting situation, like that's vile. And so
Yeah,
if you didn't have a strong like protective reaction over Amelia, I don't
yeah,
know if you read the same book as we did.
yeah. And they say that, don't they? They say no two people read the same book. So,
Right.
and it's evident when you see reviews, and you're never going to please everyone. I know that. And that's something, it took me a long time to grow a thick skin. And Amazon said to me at, the beginning of this process, of this particular deal, this series, they were putting it in Amazon First Reads, which, and I don't know whether you know about Amazon First Reads. I didn't. Amazon First Reads is a program where the book gets released a month early, and it goes into the First Reads program for a month before the actual release. So First Reads readers who are in the program can download it for free and read it and review it. And they said that we have never included a book this spicy in the program. So they came to me and said, Jodi, we know that we know that you're basically a dinosaur in this industry. Thanks. And we know you're not going to sit in the corner and rock if you get a few 1-star reviews. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit in a corner and rock, because I know that you can't please everyone. So can we put it in the program? If you're aware that there will be people who are not used to this type of read, we will advertise it as what it is. It's a sexy romance. But people who don't know you might read it and be a bit shocked, and therefore they might slam a 1-star on it. I was like, go for it. Go for it. Because there's it's often said that those negative reviews where they go, oh God, this sex is just too much. Download. And like there's the other
Exactly.
So yeah. But yeah, I think I got the memo from Amazon, and they loved it. I loved it. I felt like I kind of went home with this book, to the very beginning. I've written a lot of stories at this point, and I've always made my aim has been to make them distinguishable from the last. And, I've touched in historical and dark and, the emotional, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking love stories. And this one felt like I was really going back to my roots, the This Man days, the obsessive, unreasonable, almost hate, love him but hate him kind of guy. And that's Jude Harrison.
That is Jude Harrison. And that's actually a perfect segue to my first question that I had. But before we get to that, I would like to use the term, instead of dinosaur, I would like to use the term #1 New York Times bestselling author.
Use
Okay.
that. Sometimes need reminded about that.
That just feels a little more appropriate for who we are speaking to.
Oh,
so
thank you.
You have been like a titan, right, in the romance industry. Every single romance reader that we come in contact with, whether they've read them, haven't read them, they know exactly who you are. They know the This Man series. We have read One Night with the Duke in our romance book club in person.
Yeah.
The people ate it up, and they were like, immediately, what else has she written? So you really bring our readers on a journey. How does it feel going all the way back to the first book to now? Like, how has that journey been for you?
Oh my God. For start, I can't believe how fast it's gone. I mean, it's nearly 15. Well, I've been writing for over 15 years. This Man released in October 2012. And it still just feels like yesterday, and yet so much has happened. And I remember when This Man exploded, very unexpectedly. I didn't plan on being an author. I didn't know how to be an author. I didn't know about the online romance community. It was all pure accident. I was in the right place at the right time with the right book. And I remember the hype around it, the explosion. My life just turned up on its head. And I remember thinking, fuck, I've got to write another book. Because my life had been invested in this guy, Jesse Ward, for years. And then everyone was reading him and loving him and eating him up and asking what's coming next. And I didn't have a clue. I'd like, what is coming next? And then my publisher said to me, after we went to #1 on the New York Times, what's next? I was like, okay. They say that there's a book in everyone. They say there's rarely 2 books in anyone. And Miller Hart in the One Night series kind of was born. I was just so stressed about how much everyone loved this crazy, unreasonable, controlling guy in This Man. How am I ever going to match him? And I came to the conclusion that I never would. And actually, I didn't want to. What I wanted to do was create alpha men that readers would root for, broken men that strong heroines could fix. They all have their own personality traits, whatever they might be. And Miller Hart, he had many Jessie qualities, all my alphas do, in the sense that it's when they're invested in that woman, they are there. But Miller was younger. He looked very different. He had a very different persona, whereas Jesse was very out there and he wasn't shy in coming forward. And, you know, Miller was a little bit more understated. And one night just kind of fell out of me. And then I sat and thought, maybe I am an author. Like, maybe I can do this. And then I just carried on doing this. And here I am. Very thankful and blessed that I am still here, because the industry has changed so much over the years. And, you know, I've seen authors come and go. And I've always said to my agent, to my publicist, to everyone who I work with, I just want to keep writing, and I just want people to keep reading. And, you know, you can't just give up because one book's not as successful as the last. I was a victim of my own success in a way with This Man. That was my debut novel, and it's, to this day, still it's a bestseller today. Still, it's at number one in the Amazon romance chart. Can't remember which one. But, you know, that's crazy. People still love it, and people are still reading it, and new people are still finding the Lord, and that blows my mind. So I'm very grateful for that crazy bastard.
I mean, as you should be, truly.
Where
What,
come from?
but in terms of like your characters, besides Jesse, what has surprised you the most that the readers have like connected to or done in terms of your characters?
Just and it's a little bit inexplicable, in the sense that, you know, when I wrote Jesse, for example, I didn't think anyone could love that crazy man as much as I did. But I knew his backstory. I knew why he was like he was. And the reader didn't. They were just reading the story along with Ava and figuring it out. And, you know, and that's like a lot of my men. Many of my books are written from the heroine's perspective, so you don't get in the man's head, which I always find interesting, that readers still fall for them, even though they're tragically broken, even though they do stupid shit. You know, we root for them. And I find that really fascinating. And I don't know what that says about us as women or as readers. I think it's just that intense desire to be desired, because they all absolutely adore their counterpart, and they change for their counterpart. And to think that we can have, you know, who doesn't want to feel that desired, that wanted, that adored? I think that possibly could be one of the reasons, because I know a lot of my readers put themselves in my heroine shoes. They are Rose, they are Amelia, and they're experiencing it all with them.
I mean, I did.
Right. I mean, I think there's something to be said about the genre, in a sense where, like, some of us, yes, do live that thrilling, dark, exciting, intense life. And then some people, you know, they're like using their crock pot 5 days a week, and they're dropping all their kids off at 12 sports, and
Real life,
they're
isn't it?
going to their cubicle. But then when they read your books, they're like, I'm actually in a steam room with a billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic escapism. You know, reading is so powerful. It's the best medicine. You know, messages that you get from readers that are having a rough time for whatever reason that may be, and reading has got them through it. And you can't, that can't be underrated.
Yeah, 100%. I think the iconic pairings, right? Like, especially like Elijah and Luke. I know the readers, they love Elijah, they love Jesse. What do you think it is about Jesse specifically? Or is it just that dark, you know, persona, love to hate him? What do you think it is about them that still has readers today, like,
I just think he's
obsessing?
so off the wall, isn't he? He's so, I mean, he's alpha in too much. But he's a lost little boy in a big man's body, you know. He's lost so much, and he finds Ava, and he's terrified of losing again. And so, you know, with Jude, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, obviously, but it's that they don't believe they're lovable themselves. Almost, they know that they're far from perfect, and they know they probably don't deserve the woman that they're pursuing, but there's that tiny part of them that hopes they can have a slither of normality and be loved. God, it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Who doesn't love a broken man? Needs fixing.
Well,
So true.
well. I mean, I literally just gave Liz like an off-screen review of a book we read, and I said the man was like too nice and healthy, and so it was kind of hard for me. And she was like, "Okay, well, you need to call your therapist because there's something deeper there." And I was like, "You're probably right." And the amount of times I've actually had to talk with my therapist about these characters that I so adore is kind of through the roof. And it's taught me things about myself that are
Mm-hmm.
not the healthiest.
No.
Have any of your characters taught you anything about yourself?
Yeah, I have some very dark corners of my mind, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah, I frighten myself sometimes. I know I frighten my husband, um, especially with the Unlawful Men series in particular. Um, that was going to dark places. I mean, there's an element of of darkness somewhere in any of my stories because I write broken characters, whether that be, I mean, mostly that's the guy, but I've written the women broken too. I mean, Hannah in Leave Me Breathless was dreadfully broken, and Rose in The Brit, and Lo Harper in For You. And I'm writing a very broken woman at the moment. You have to, you do have to, I have to be in a certain mood, you know, if in my life, you know, to write that kind of stuff. And then I have to have relief from it, you know, in writing and something else, whether that be a historical or whether that be, I mean, I never write fluff. I don't like fluffy romance. There's always got to be some grit and some angst, and that's just my recipe. And you know, there's my own little ingredients that I like to throw into the mix, and I always like to keep my readers guessing. I don't ever want to be predictable. It hurts when people say, "Oh God, it was so predictable." I'm like, was it? Was it? Not even I saw that coming. How did you see it coming?
Definitely didn't see the twist in the invitation coming. So.
You didn't.
No, 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 no. I didn't. I mean, you laid the foundation that I knew something was amiss. Like I was like, there's something more here, specifically with Catherine. But I don't want to give too much away.
I can't
But
wait for you to read The Surrender. Oh my God.
because literally, like when I tell you, like I was so relaxed on the couch reading, I was completely fine, and then I was just not. And my husband, like, he was just like, are you okay? I'm like, what? Because I'm like, what? And like looking around for someone to react with me because I'm reacting so. And
I get to a point where I think to myself, oh God, because, you know, plot twists are a thing, and, you know, cliffhangers are a thing. And I always worry that, like, when I'm ending a book, especially one that is going to have another book, how can I keep surprising my readers? You know, how can I keep doing that? And I'm glad that I have.
Yes. And then I was like texting Liz and I'm like, girl, I need you to finish right now because I have got to
Need to
scream.
vent.
And she's like, okay, what's going on?
Need to vent.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
literally moving, and my husband was like lifting furniture on his back. I'm just on my Kindle.
Hold on real
I couldn't. I was like, "Where is Amelia? What is she doing? What?
Have
How
you
is she feeling?"
the are you audio girls? Do you like audio books? No.
I
I will do it if I'm very busy. Like if I have a lot going on at work, I will do it. But I really just love to be in the
Yeah,
pages or
I
the
get that.
Kindle.
The Shakira shoot did the invitation, and she did such an incredible job. Such an incredible job. And I think when you're not audio lovers, I think for me it's just a case of finding the voice, voices that you like, because it can be jarring if they're not what you imagine. And as soon as Amazon sent me the auditions for the invitation, I scrolled through, and as soon as I saw Shakira's name, I was like, oh well, I know straight away that she's doing it. Yeah, she's worked with me before on another project, so I was eager to have her, and she did a really fantastic job.
I
Yeah,
might
I
have
saw
to listen.
reviews that they loved the audio.
Yeah, yeah, I listened to it, and even like I know the story, and I listened to it on my dog walks, and even I was like grinning from ear to ear. She nailed Amelia so well.
I mean, and I'm sorry to just continue to like fangirl because I was like also as I'm reading through it and we're getting to know Jude a little bit more and Amelia a little more, I'm like I was grinning and my husband because I'm always with him. He's like, "What are you like? What are you grinning at?" And I'm like, "I can't tell you. I can't tell you, but it's good."
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't write in public because I tend to pull the expressions that my characters will be pulling. So if I'm writing an angry scene, then I'm getting really angry with my computer and I'm bashing away at the keys, and yeah. So I have to be very mindful of that. It's the same as when I'm texting on my phone and I'm looking for an emoji and I'm actually pulling the face of the emoji that I'm looking for.
My favorite one they just added is the one where they just look so tired and they're just like this. And I'm like, I use this way too much. Here we go.
Too much late night reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
about Jude's history, it went out actually in my newsletter on Friday. I wrote originally a prologue to the invitation, and during the editing process with Amazon, we decided to take it out because we thought that it was better to let Jude's story play out in the pages rather than give a hint to it at the beginning. And it broke my heart simply because that piece of writing, the prologue, set up the story in my head so well. So I'm going to release it after the invitation comes out. I'm not sure when this is airing. When's this airing?
So it'll air Friday. So the invitation will have been out for 3 days.
Okay, so it might not be out by that point, but I am going to release the prologue, which is probably going to be so much better to read after you've actually finished reading the invitation, because it will make sense what you read, and you'll be like, oh, and you'll be piecing things together, and it's about his mother, which we know he misses terribly. So yeah, it's about Jude and his mother, and sort of a little bit of the history behind Arlington Hall and how it came to be, which is a beautifully tragic story.
I'm so excited. I can't wait for everyone to read it. myself especially, but
And
that's
thank you.
really, yeah, thank you for giving us that. We love bonus content from authors.
Yeah.
It's like a really nice inside look as like how the process was, and just getting backstories for these like characters is, it makes it so special, and like really getting that inside scoop into their head. Maybe I'll be a little less mad at him.
You can't be
Probably
mad
not,
at
but
him.
maybe.
You won't be mad at him in Surrender. You might be a little bit at first, but it's all about the redemption in the Surrender.
We love a
I literally
redemption.
said, I am so ready to see how you pull a good redemption arc because right now I'm not feeling very redemption-y. So
That's gonna change.
I'm ready. I'm stat. I can't
I'm
wait.
Get
excited.
ready to
Yeah.
fall hard.
Ugh. Yes, yes.
I cannot wait. And I think they're such an iconic pairing. Like, I trust you, so I know that it's gonna go well.
Mm-hmm.
But like the two of them together when they were good and when they were,
Mm-hmm.
together, it was really good. You just have such a way with these like iconic pairings. Do you have like a couple or a pairing that is like the closest to your heart? I know it's hard to choose a favorite, so you don't have to say favorite, but
Oh God, I think it is hard when you create characters, and obviously some are older than others. You wonder how you can make them unique as a pairing, and it's something that I've thought about a lot when I've been plotting and writing down notes for a story that I want to write. How can I make this couple unique? But actually, it happens naturally when I'm on the page with them and they're conversing and bantering and, all the things. It just flows most of the time. And they end up, you just end up with this unique relationship between two people who don't actually exist, I know, but it just tends to flow. They kind of just lead the way, really. I'm just writing down the words. I have too many favourites. They're all favourites in their own way because, like I say, they're all got their own unique little relationships.
So how long did it take you to write the invitation? Like what was the process of coming through the book and writing it and publishing it? I can't believe it's out tomorrow. I'm so excited. New
Either.
publication day. Um, like take us through that process. Take us through writing it, getting it out in the world, how are you feeling, all of it.
So, as a general rule of thumb, I like to write a book that I'm feeling and then I'll give it to my agent to shop it to publishers
Mm-hmm.
because I've never been a fan of the pressures of deadlines. And as authors we put our own sort of pressures on ourselves with deadlines. When you get a publisher put a deadline on you, it's like more pressure. And I've never missed a deadline in my career, which is something I want to carry on keeping. But with the invitation and the surrender, Amazon came to me and said, "We want classic JM. Um, have a think about it." And it's like anything. At first, I'm like, "Ugh, God!" Like I'm absolutely shit at writing blurbs and synopsis. I would rather write a whole novel, which is why I do that, and then let my agent shop the book. So I kind of like sat on it for a few days, and it's like anything. It always starts with the guy. The guy is there. I'm building his personality, his character traits, how he looks, what he does, and then it just starts to unfold from there. Arlington Hall was actually inspired by someone who I've dedicated the second book to. And she doesn't know me, and I don't know her, but I saw a portrait of her a few years ago, and it all went from there. So when Amazon came to me and asked me a couple of years ago, this was, to give them a JM book. I mean, they're all JM books, I know that, but they're talking like the, classic JM, which I interpret as, okay, they want super sexy, they want super alpha male. I'm good with that. Let's go. I started writing down notes, and it's like anything when I'm drafting ideas and plotting. It's such a big fat mess. It's a mess of notes on my phone. It's a mess of emails to myself. It's a mess of notes in my journal. It just miraculously somehow pieces together until I've got the whole story arc. Never really do I have that full plot planned out book. Does it go dead to the schedule? It never does, because the characters just tend to lead you off in so many directions and throw me curveballs, and I deal with that as along the way. But it was some books take longer to write, and I don't know why that is. It's not something I can explain. It could be my mood, it could be things going on in my personal life, it could be the characters just not talking to me as much as they should be, or I want them to. But this one flowed pretty smoothly.
I mean, I read it very smoothly as well too. So
it was the thing was, they asked me for a series with standalones interconnecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not very good at writing standalones. I mean, I have written a lot of standalones, but they're long books.
Mm-hmm.
Long books. I can't help but write long books. And I went to them and I was like, I'm really struggling to make this one book. And they were like, that's fine, make it two. I was like, yes.
I mean, I know I've continued to say this through the interview, but I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed just sitting down and reading. It just it just took me somewhere where I felt like I was with Amelia. I loved the friendship between her and Charlie and all. Yes,
that killed me.
them getting.
That's so funny. I have a very large, wide group of girlfriends, and some I've known since school, and some I've known since my kids were in school. But most of them have been in my life for, some of them 35 years, long time. And in that 35 years, we have done a lot of things together, lots of girls' holidays and lots of nights out and weekend trips and house parties and fancy dress parties. And all the girls know that whenever they're with me, nothing is safe. It's a bit of a running joke. If someone does something stupid, says something funny, gets their heel stuck in a drain, anything, it's like everyone's like, that's going in a book. It's everything that happens in my books with friendships, 9 times out of 10 will have happened with me and my girlfriends. And the girls read some of my stories and they message me and go, oh my God, I can't believe you put that in there. Yes, I did. It's author gold. It's author gold. Sometimes I just text the girls and be like, I need some material. Can we go out tonight?
That is amazing. That is so fun. And I think honestly, like, you can tell kind of, you know what I mean? That like, not necessarily we didn't know it was your friends, but we can tell like they all feel so authentic. Like even if they do have like that sense of escapism,
Yeah.
and like whisking you away to a steam room. They have like this, oh, my friend did that. My best friend would do that. Liz has done that, or like Liz has said that.
Yeah.
And so you can tell that it has like a female friendship comfortability kind of
Mm,
like memento going on. So I love to hear that. That's
yeah.
amazing. So
I'm
that's an
glad
influence.
to put to rest
Um,
authors are reclusive and don't have any friends and just have cats. Maybe I'll be like that one day.
right. But for now, we need new material. So
Yeah.
you
For
keep
now,
going out,
big
girl.
girls.
Exactly. So that's obviously a big influence for you.
Mhm.
Do you have like authors that are like big influences for you or were when you started, or
Oh, do you
do
know
you
what?
have like favorite books that you'd
I
like to
always,
share?
I always dread this question because I just don't read anymore. N-
Well, you're very busy. I don't see how you
And
could have
that's one
time
of,
to read.
yeah, that's one of the biggest bummers about. I mean, there's no bummers. There's absolutely no bummers about what I do. It's an amazing job. But there is a bummer in the sense that I just don't read anymore because I just can't get my head out of my own story to be able to concentrate. So the odd occasion that I'm between books, um, I will try and read something. And it's usually something that an author friend's asked me to read for them, or, the most recent one was Gianna Darlin's The Moon and His Tides. Have you read that one?
Not yet.
Oh my God. It is hot. I was like,
Bumping that one up.
Yeah.
yeah, Gianna. She's the sweetest, most beautiful, innocent looking thing. And I'm like, Christ. So the Sun and Her Burn is the second. The Sun and Her Burn. I almost said the Sun and Her Bum. The Sun and Her Burn is the second book, which is releasing, I believe, at the end of this month. So, according to my writing schedule at the moment, I am going to be finished the book I'm currently working on just in time, so I can dedicate some time to read that because the first book was phenomenal. So yeah, I read, but I don't read as often as I would like to.
Saw the cover of The Moon and His Tides and I said, oh, I don't know who he is, but I would like to read a book about him for sure.
Mhm.
So
It's very good.
definitely bumped that up the TBR
Yeah,
for sure. But
very.
I can understand that. I think if I was an author, which I could never be, I don't know how you all do it. Um, I don't think I could read because I would either be putting my work against someone else's work to the point where I couldn't enjoy it, or I would feel like if I went to write something and I thought I had ever read it in any book ever before, I would feel terrible.
Yeah, that's another thing. I always have this horrible like fear that I'm going to read a book and it's going to be an idea that I've got stewing around in my head or something.
Mhm.
So I'm like, there's only so many stories you can tell. Everyone knows that, but it's the way you tell the story. Um,
Right.
yeah, but I just enjoy writing so much that it's hard to step away from that. It's I try and write every day simply because if I don't, I fall out of the story. And then I
Mhm.
find that I have to read back too much to get back in the flow. So I just try and, even if I just write a few words, it keeps me in the story.
So what's coming after Surrender? Anything big you want to
Um,
talk about? I mean, or you could just talk about Surrender some more. Give
well,
me.
the surrender is, I mean, if you, the invitation, obviously, I love the surrender. People are gonna, how can I don't want to ruin anything, but also
You don't feel like you have to.
no,
I was just
I
teasing, but
know how much readers love an epilogue, and this has an awesome epilogue. So that's great. I just can't wait for everyone to get beneath the surface of Jude and find out everything that there is to know, as well as Amelia. And then I've got the re-release of The Enigma, which is the end of July, which is the new cover, new bonus content, fancy sprayed edges, which everyone's dying for. So it's one more piece of the puzzle, because once they're all together, they form this amazing picture of a bullet breaking glass. So I think you can. It's funny, when I got sent the picture from my publisher for the first print copy, they sent, and they put it next to the Brit, so the picture's slowly starting to form, and you can just see the tip of the bullet. And I was like, oh look, just the tip. Everyone's gonna have just the tip until the resurrection comes out. So
That is
the end of July, and everyone will have just the tip until the end of September, when the resurrection comes out, and there's a little bit more to the bullet. And then I recently announced a book, a standalone, coming November 6th. I think it's the 6th, November 6th. Every Silent Lie, which is a standalone. It's not a Christmas book, but it's set around December, so there is elements of Christmas. I've been nagged for years by my readers to give a seasonal offering.
Ooh.
And I've been procrastinating about that for a few years. I'm like, oh God, to me, Christmas stories are just like fluffy, and I'm not sure I want to go down that road. So I kind of went the entire opposite way and created the most broken woman I think I've ever written. And thrown her into December, which is
Note to self, if I ever want you to write a book, tell you to write the opposite, and then maybe I'll get the book that I really, really, really want. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, Every Silent Lie is my seasonal offering, although it's not a book that should just be read around the holidays, because it's just way more than set at Christmas. So there's that in November, and then the re-release of The Rising, and then The American, which will complete that set. And then next year's schedule I am currently working on. So there's a couple of big surprises.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I will be ready and waiting, as usual, to see what is next.
You will probably be hearing from us in September, November.
Like, hi, we're back.
Hey, me again. Hi. Can we chat?
That is awesome. And as soon as we read the surrender, we'll be like, okay, we're sorry.
Please,
Tell Jude that we said we were sorry.
I did say, when Liz and I kind of recapped a little bit, I did say that I felt there was more to Jude than what we saw, and that I feel we're going to get more of that in order to forgive him.
Yes.
So you did lay that foundation very well as well.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's more to the story than what we saw.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's three sides to every story. So I'm very excited to see that. And I literally cannot wait for everyone to read the invitation, because I have not been that sad for this kind of romance in a minute. I had at least 1,000 other things I needed to do, and I was on my couch just.
I know. I've heard a lot of people are just like gobbling it all up in one go. I'm like,
Yeah, I could not stop. I read it in 2 sittings.
Oh
yeah.
my God. Christ.
And it wasn't even just the characters, it was the setting, it was where are we going to go, like even the family issues and drama resonated with me. And then Amelia as a career woman, and the what comes with that as well, all of it was just like bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, well, I can't let Amelia go right now. We're in the thick of it. Like, I'll be right back.
She's a good egg, and she's very stable and level-headed, which is why she finds it so incredibly difficult dealing with Jude, because she's focused on her career, and he is massively derailing her. Like, she's shooting for partner in the firm, she's got all of her ducks in a row, and this guy is just exploded into her life, and suddenly her mind isn't fully set on work, and that for her is a problem, hence the cat and mouse games.
Mm-hmm.
We all love it.
It's delicious, truly. So
Yes.
we are honestly so honored that you came to chat and answered our questions. Our listeners are going to be so excited to see this. This episode will be out in just a few days.
Yep.
And everyone will have been sprinting to read The Invitation, and we cannot wait to talk about it with all of them. You have been such a gem. If I may make one request, I don't know if you watch Love Island UK.
I don't know whether I want to admit this publicly.
Well, I watch it every night, so
I do watch it every night. I'm going to tell you, because my husband, he calls it our guilty pleasure. My husband, he works in the corporate world. He has long days, and he gets home and he goes in the gym, and we eat, and then we crash on the couch and we watch an episode of Love Island, and it's our guilty pleasure, and I'm not ashamed.
You should not be ashamed. Well, first of all,
own it.
Look at my phone case.
Oh God.
I am a huge, I watch
So
Australia, UK, and US. Yep.
So we are a week behind at the moment, because my husband was working away for a week, and he made me promise I wouldn't watch it while he was away. And I was a very good wife, and I didn't.
I'm so proud of you.
I know.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I would have been like, no, I didn't watch it.
So I won't spoil anything. So
again.
Yeah, I will not spoil anything for you. But I'll go back to like the very beginning of the season. I'm just making a small request. It's a huge request. I want a female main character that is just like Meg.
Meg? Right there's two Megans.
Not Megan. Meg.
Meg, blonde.
With Dijon.
Well, are they? Because last night I watched it and I wasn't sure whether they would make it. No,
I'm still not sure, and I'm a week ahead, so.
She's got some feist.
I at the beginning I was like, oh, she's gonna do me in. But I love her.
But Daddy, I love her.
I love her so much.
At the moment, she's, and again, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who might be watching. I can't believe we're talking about Love Island.
I mean, if you ever want to be in our group chat, just let us know, because
she disappointed me a little bit last night, just by her reaction to something, and I kind of got why she was reacting like that, but I was kind of
it when she had to watch something?
Yeah, I think
like on a screen.
Yeah. There's been a few things.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few things.
That was not her best moment.
No,
I will say.
Come on, Meg, you're better than that. Don't react to this, because you're giving him all the vibes, and she's way better than that. So I'm hoping. I think last night she's reflecting a little bit, and I think she's going to pull back. But what I do know is that she deserves better at the moment. I agree.
I agree. I told Liz after episode 2, I was like, this man has taken me on a journey. I said, Dijon may be the hottest man I've ever seen in my literal entire life. And then 3 days later, I was like, I never want to see him again.
It was such a whiplash. I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
I tell you who I really liked, and he got sent home. I was really disappointed about Blue.
I really liked Blue too. I wanted Helena and Blue to get together.
Yeah, I was
I
gutted.
thought they were evenly matched.
I didn't think that he deserved to go home, if I'm honest.
Harry, I wish he was at home right now. Or honestly, I wish he was back in Turkey
He's a
getting another hair transplant.
bit of a player, isn't he?
He makes me ill.
But
He makes
there's
me
being
ill.
a player and there's being a child, and I feel like it's juvenile. It's juvenile. Some of the stuff he's doing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he's like a dog on heat, isn't he?
Literally, he'll like leave the terrace and he's like goes right to Dejan. He's like, "Guess what I did, didn't it?" I'm like, "Hello, what do you mean?" And then he wants to go to the hideaway 3 minutes later with someone else. I can't. Anyways, this has been Love Island Corner. But I just love Meg, and I think he is making her not show her best self. I think
Mhm.
she is way better than the reactions that she's giving him.
Absolutely, absolutely, I
And
agree.
she's like the most beautiful one I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, she's very stunning, but not when
So
she's cursing like a sailor.
he deserves it, but I want her to have peace. She
Yeah,
needs to
yeah,
find
yeah,
peace.
yeah.
So
She'll find it. That's it. I'm going to go
she
and watch
will.
a few episodes now. I'm checking.
You're like, we need material.
Yeah, and you can DM us and be like, okay, I see what you're saying now. Got it.
There's so much
Well,
drama in there, though, isn't there? There's just so much drama. I'm just like, does this happen? I look at my husband. I'm like, and I don't know whether it's because of my age. Like, you know, I'm older, and I can just see what the guys are doing, and then the girls' reaction. I'm like saying to the screen, "Girls, stop it! Stop it! Stop saying that! Stop doing that! Just like walk away and let them
mhm.
stew and realize what they're missing out on, because they're going to end up lonely." But the girls just like get pulled into it, and it's just drama, and it's like they've known each other for like 30 seconds, you know?
And the girls are like so much more attractive than the men this season as like a whole. When you have 3 cast members who have literally, because I wasn't being mean about the hair transplant. There's like a video of him getting a hair transplant of Harry, and Ben had one as well, and Tommy had one as well. I'm like, you're letting these men that have had to have hair transplants tell you what to do?
That's a thing
Yeah.
over here. That's a thing over here. My son,
Hair transplants?
yeah, my youngest,
People go to Turkey, and get hair transplant.
my youngest son, he's like nearly 22, and he's got such a complex about his hairline. Bless him.
But it's like the same thing over here. All the girls get filler, and so like young girls are like, well, why are my lips small? No
Oh,
one else's lips are small. I'm like, babe, they're not real lips. Like, so I feel like it's the same thing. Like, all these men get to look at people with, new hair and new teeth and new this and that, and they're like, why don't I look like that?
yeah, it's not realistic. It's
Not fair.
all for online. You know, look as good as you can and make people believe that that's how you look when you wake up in the morning, and we all know it isn't. Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, what a side quest that we just went on together.
A side island that we
But
traveled to.
it brings me more joy than you could ever imagine that you watch Love Island. So
I want you to cut that bit out. No, I'm joking.
we will if you want. We will if you want
No,
to.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think that can be like my that can be confession, can't it? Confessions with JM. She watches Love
I
Island.
can guarantee you that people who know us will not be shocked that Love Island got brought up. So
No,
you are in a safe space.
Okay, that's good.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again, Jodi, for coming.
Thank
It was
you. It's been
so
lovely.
nice chatting with you.
And I hope you love the surrender when you get to read it.
I can't wait.
We will be reaching out to Kelly, like, just so
Oh,
you know, if you have any arcs for that, we would love to promote. Yeah.
Yeah, and if Jodi is free, could we have a little chit chat?
Yeah, we'll revisit.
Do another chat next time when Jude's redeemed himself.
I can't wait. Oh, I'm so ready.
Thank you, Liz.
Of course, thank you so much, and we hope that you have an amazing rest of your week.
Yeah, you
Yes.
too. Until next time.
Until next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.